What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Team Member Perspective podcast show. I'm Colter, your host, and in today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about pivoting from service transactions. Any sort of interaction that we have with our customers, we should be pivoting. In fact, team members, I think you can all relate with me here that it is ingrained in us that we know that we need to pivot. Pivot. And oftentimes if, you might be thinking, man, this is getting old. I know I need to pivot, Colter. I know. I'm told it every single day by my agent. But guys, we do need to pivot. I want to hopefully come at this with a different angle in this episode to help you think a little bit differently about the opportunity that we have as team members if we are helping out with service. Now, I assume that most of you, even if you're 100% sales, there are times that you're going to pick up the phone and help out with service. Okay, and so again, my hope is that we can cover a few things that help you think differently, maybe, help you find different ways that you can pivot more effectively with your customers so that ultimately you can write more policies. I want to help you make more money and really find the fulfillment that I was able to experience as a team member in helping protect people's financial futures. Seeing policies that I personally saw pay out, that I wrote, that does something to you. It changed me. It changed the way that I thought about, this everyday service and just dealing with people. Help me focus in on what's most important and the impact that we actually can have with our customers if we will just follow the process. And so one of the first things I want to talk about is this. I hear all the time from team members, I just can't seem to get people to answer the phone. I mean, it's difficult. If you're going to pick up the phone and just call randomly, we don't know if that person is busy or not on the other end of the phone. We don't know if it's their lunch break, if they've got family stuff going on. We don't really know what we're interrupting in their day. And so it is difficult to get people to answer the phone. I 100% agree with that. A couple tips that might help you with that before we get into some things are try double tap if you have not. Meaning if I call you and you don't answer the first time, I'm going to immediately redial. Because I don't know about you, I usually don't answer phone calls if I don't recognize the number. But if that same number called me back immediately after I didn't pick up the first time, I'm probably going to pick up. Creates curiosity, like what's going on here. And that has been my experience. People generally pick up that second time. So that's the first thing. Second thing is if they don't pick up that second time, I like to text people. I feel that people generally will respond to a text message. I guess they are more likely to respond to a text message than they are to pick up a random phone call. And so after I double tap, I will shoot them a text message that usually is just a simple question. Hey, is this Colter? ? And I do that because it's so generic, but it creates curiosity for the customer. Again, if I put myself on the receiving end of that text message, I'm probably going to say, yeah, like, who's this? What's going on? So it elicits a response. Those are two ways that really helped my response rate go up in getting people on the phone and just getting in touch with them. Okay, so double tap. If they don't answer, text them. Email is not the greatest form of communication, I personally feel. But if you can get people on email, go for it, okay? But let's go back to that. It is difficult to get people on the phone. That's going to be the nature of the beast. That is the nature of the beast. I don't think that that's ever going to change. And there's not a whole lot of control that we have over that, right? There's a few tips like we just shared, but we're always going to run into that. And so as far as thinking about service, right? Your customer is calling you. They've set aside time in their day to talk to you. And so we have their time and attention. That's not always the case when we make those outbound phone calls. And even if the customer picks up, they may not be giving us their full time and attention because of what else is going on, right? They may not be present with us in that moment on that phone call if we called them. Now, when they call us, it's a different story. We have their undivided time and attention. They've set aside time in their day to talk with you. So they're going to listen to you. So that's huge. That is more than half the battle. If you are in a sales position, you need to think through that a little bit because here's the reality of the situation is you might have a mindset right now that you're completely separating service from sales, and you are not meshing the two. And so if it's anything to do with service, your sales mind just shuts off. We need to rewire the way we think about this. Instead of separating service from sales, let's mesh the two and simply just think every interaction with someone is an opportunity. The way that you look at service will determine your activity, and your activity is going to determine your results. So if you're looking at service completely separate, and every time you answer the service phone call, your sales brain shuts off, you're not going to be effective in pivoting from service opportunities. So it starts with your mindset. It starts the way that you are viewing these service calls and these service tasks that you need to accomplish, okay? So instead of service and sales, they're completely separate. Let's mesh the two, and every interaction with a person is an opportunity. So that's the first thing. We need to separate that. Back up. Don't put that in there, Jasmine. Second thing, I always just kind of let this phrase sit in my mind, and I remind myself of this phrase as the day goes on. Take care plus one. Take care plus one. The first part we cannot overlook. Take care of your people. Over deliver for them. Fulfill your end of the promise, right? Because when they signed up with you, you made a promise that you were going to take care of them if they had a claim or if they had any sort of account issues. And think about why people shop. They might have had a bad claim experience. I guess think about how people shop outside of price, because I would say that people are shopping because their rates went up. We all know that story. But setting price aside, why else do people shop? Bad claims experience, bad billing experience, or just bad customer service. People aren't getting taken care of like they should. So you need to take care. You cannot overlook that piece. So over deliver with your customers. Go the extra mile. When you're taking care of them, and you're going to see how all this is going to be a win-win for you, right? It's not like you're just wasting time doing this, okay? You need to get out of your head in that way and stop thinking about service as wasting your time, because it's not. But if you view it that way, you're not going to get out of this what you could. Find a way to connect with them. Make a friend. That's taking care of them. Make a friend. Give them a reason to stick around. You got to think through this, and I do this often, but why are they choosing you? Why are they choosing your office? They could go to the State Farm down the street and get the same type of policies, but what's keeping them around with you? It's that experience. You need to over deliver with them. Find a way to connect with them. Make a friend. Your goal here, guys, really is to build trust, likability, and credibility. That's how you should start looking at these service interactions. Make a friend, build that trust with them. And it's not wasting your time, because here's what happens is if you can take care of them, if you can over deliver, make a friend, connect with them, you are essentially teeing yourself up for an opportunity. That when you go and you create an opportunity for them, whether it's on the phone right then and there, whether you call them back, we're going to talk about that in a minute. But when you do all of this prep work and you're taking care of your people, you are setting yourself up for a solid opportunity. Solid opportunity. Because a lot of time in sales, let's think about this. People buy from who they trust. I think liking people is a piece of that, but they buy, if they trust you, they will make a buying decision. They will say yes with you, in my opinion. They buy from who they trust. There's not much better of an opportunity than to take care of people and over deliver to actually build trust with them than service opportunities. And that's what you get with those, right? So take care of them. But then the second part is plus one. Proactively be looking for opportunities. Every single service call is an opportunity. Every single interaction is an opportunity. In a sales position, that is your goal. It's not just take care and leave it alone. It's take care plus one. Can't forget the plus one. But in order for you to be effective with the plus one, you've got to take care of them, right? Just work smarter. You don't have to work harder. Your pivots will go a lot farther for you if you can just get this down, right? But that is what I repeat to myself. Take care plus one. Every single service call is an interaction or is an opportunity. Every interaction with a customer is an opportunity. But you've got to look at it in that way. You've got to be proactive. You got to take your initiative and go and create opportunities. So let's talk about opportunities. Like, what opportunities can we create from service calls or service tasks? I've got a few here. Life insurance. Bring up life insurance with your customers. If you can find a way to keep the life insurance complementary to the policies that they already have with you, paying off the mortgage if they have a homeowner's policy with a mortgage on it, paying off a car, a loan on a vehicle with the car that's insured with you, find a way to keep it complementary to what they have with you, because it makes a very smooth and logical transition, a very smooth pivot, instead of this harsh redirection like, oh, Colter, you must have a life insurance sales target goal because I feel like you're selling. The goal is to come in strategically to where we don't have that sales pressure. We don't want to come across as we're selling. We want to educate. Our customers don't like to be sold to. We don't like to sell. And the way to remove that sales pressure from the very beginning is to be strategic with your pivoting. But yeah, life insurance. Life insurance is phenomenal. And as we're finishing up Fast Start, talk to your customers about life insurance. Every single opportunity you can with a customer on the phone, bring up life insurance. I guarantee you your life insurance sales will go up. Health insurance, right? Our health insurance supplements that we have, our short-term disability policies, Medicare supplements. Talk to your customers about that. Again, think about how you can keep it complementary to the home and to the auto. Find a way to make it a smooth and logical transition. Now, if there's not really a way to do that, just bring it up. It doesn't have to be sexy, but I'm telling you what has worked from my experience. Finding a way to keep it complementary to the home and auto has made all the difference for me. Our umbrella policies, our personal articles policies, those are all opportunities that you can create for yourself if you are proactive and if you're looking for those things. Plus one, you got to be looking for the plus ones. If you can't create an opportunity with a policy there, maybe you're kind of gauging the situation and it doesn't necessarily seem like the right time to pivot to a policy. IFR, set an appointment to do a policy review with your customer. Try to get them in the office. If they're not able to come in the office, utilize your technology to do a face-to-face meeting. Zoom, right? Good Neighbor Connect, use those things. And then if not, get them on the phone, do a phone appointment. But IFRs are great. Referrals, right? You can set yourself up to ask for referrals. And once you take care of them, you over-deliver, you build that trust, likability, and credibility, the likelihood of them giving you a referral goes up significantly. And then the last piece is Google reviews. Don't sleep on Google reviews. Google reviews will get your phone, the office phone, to ring. Think about how people do business. If I move into an area and I need to get insurance, what do you think? How do you think I'm going to go about looking for insurance? I'm going to Google it. If you can show up with, obviously SEO goes into that. Look to have someone come in and help you with the SEO. So when they search insurance, you're coming up at the top in your area. But your Google reviews, that's what people are going to go look at. They're going to go see what other people are saying about you. And they're going to make a decision if they're going to call you or not based on your reviews. So get those reviews up. That is an opportunity that's going to drive business later on for you and your agency. Look for those opportunities. You've got to be proactive. You've got to take that initiative. They're not just going to pop up, but you've got to create them. Now let's talk about timing. This is where I want to spend the rest of this episode. Is timing with our pivoting important? Or does it matter that we just pivot? Because we've been taught we need to pivot, we need to pivot, we need to pivot. And I don't know about you, but for me, for a long time, I felt like if I didn't pivot right then and right there and then on that phone call, I lost that opportunity. Do you agree with me there? Like that's kind of where I was at. And I remember sometimes like I recognized the opportunity to pivot on the phone, but I didn't, regardless, like whatever reason I didn't. I remember hanging up that phone and just kind of having a sense of a feeling of guilt, right? Like, or not guilt, regret, not guilt, regret. Like, man, I should have brought it up. What am I doing, right? And I kind of let that affect me a little bit. Again, going back to timing. Is timing important in our pivoting? I personally feel like it is, because just think about this. If you have a customer call in and you can just sense in their voice that they're rushed and they're just trying to get the payment done and get off the phone so they can get back to work, just imagine you pivoting to life insurance on that phone call. How well do you think that's going to go for you? At that point, in my mind, I feel like it's just very easy for that customer to just decline because they're in a rush, they got to go. But it's so easy to just still pivot there because of what we've been taught. It's ingrained in us. Like I said, we got to pivot, we got to pivot, we got to pivot, we got to pivot. And sometimes we just get into this pattern of just checking off boxes, right? I'm pivoting. Maybe it's because we feel good about ourselves when we do those things, even though we know it's not super effective. But hey, I'm pivoting. I'm checking off those boxes. I'm pivoting. Maybe it's so that our agent gets off our back or that there's some sort of validation there. But hey, even though it's not effective, I'm pivoting, agent. I'm pivoting. Pivot effectively. Think about that timing with your customer. If they are in a rush, but let's say you recognize the opportunity, guess what? If you hang up that phone call, that opportunity is not lost forever. That's something that I had to learn. it is not lost forever. You can call them back. Now, if you want to be proactive with calling people back, if you recognize that opportunity on the phone call with that customer, but you don't feel like the timing is right, maybe because they're rushed, or maybe because they're being short with you, or maybe you just don't feel like you have the confidence in that specific moment to have an effective conversation with your customer, and you just don't feel like the timing is right to pivot, but you recognize the opportunity. If you want to be proactive with this and get a lot of results, pre-sell a callback. Tell them, look, I'm going to call you back if I see something. That's essentially what we're doing. You're just telling them that you're probably going to be calling them back. The way I like to do it is say, look, hey, Mr. Customer, I know you pay us a lot of money. We appreciate you. What I'm going to do, and again, I don't know when the last time we reviewed your policies or really combed through everything. And so I'm going to do that for you after we get done with this phone call. Just going to go look through everything, make sure that that you're taking advantage of all the discounts that you qualify for and that we can get you. And I'll just also look for any potential gaps, holes, or concerns. If I see anything worth calling you about, are you okay if I just shoot you a call back? What do you think your customers are going to say then? They're going to say, absolutely. Yeah, call me back. But then what that allows you to do is it allows you to go and do your homework. It allows you to go and find leverage for your conversation or when you call them back for a pivot. It allows you time to prepare. And I don't know about you, but I like to be prepared. And maybe it just allows us to get in touch with the customer at a time when they're not as rushed and they're actually giving us their time and attention rather than answering the phone and not actually being present with you on that phone call. It allows them, to be in a better spot to be able to listen to you. But also for you, it allows you to kind of do what you need to do to get that confidence back and to call them back so you can be more effective in your conversation. It allows you to take time and create an offer beforehand that you can present to your customer when you call them back, an offer that is so good that customer will have a hard time telling you no. So timing is important with our pivots. People are busy. They've got a lot going on in their lives. I mean, think about your life. Think about what you've got to balance and manage. Our customers are dealing with the same things. And so instead of trying to push against the grain and just pivot because we're checking off boxes, let's be more intentional with our pivots. Let's be strategic. Let's find ways to be more effective in our pivoting. And I'll tell you from experience, just doing these simple things of number one, stop separating the service from the sales. Let's mesh the two. Two, take care plus one. Like repeat that to yourself, right? Take care of your customers and proactively look for opportunities. Number three, being intentional with our timing of our pivots. And number four, just being proactive with the opportunities that we're creating as far as bringing up life insurance, health insurance, PLUP, PAP, Google review, IFR, referrals. We can just be proactive with these things. Use strategy. We're going to be more effective and compelling in our conversations. You're going to write more policies than you ever have, which means you're going to make more money than you ever have. And I'll tell you, your financial life can change. It is in your control. And as team members, we're in an opportunity. We're not in a job. There's no cap. No one's saying, hey, Colter, you can only make this much money in the team member seat. No, you are in control of your paycheck, which I absolutely love. But our ability to be proactive and strategic and taking advantage of all of these opportunities that we have to talk to people will ultimately determine our success. And think about the impact that you can have, the difference that you can have in someone's life. You selling one life insurance policy may not change the world, but it could very well change the world for that one person. So I want you to remember that. Appreciate you guys. Hope you had a few takeaways from this. Ultimately, the goal here, guys, is to create an opportunity with every interaction that you have with your customers and be smart with it. Appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you in the next episode.